Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you had a nice weekend. Want to do a quick video on this topic of Saudi Arabia threatening to sell U.S. Treasuries out in the open market because of Congress wanting to release some 9/11 bombshell information, whatever that is. Probably some sort of role that the Saudis had in 9/11. But regardless, I'm looking at this article. They threatened to unload $750 billion in US assets. And the thing is, you don't really know what's in these sovereign wealth funds. Saudi Arabia has kept that data secret. The US Treasury hasn't delved into that topic either. But the headlines and how they want to present this, that Saudi Arabia would be liquidating mainly their treasuries and it would have a huge or a detrimental impact on the US economy. However, we should look at the data and see if that indeed would be the case. Okay, so I'm looking now at the Treasury website regarding to the major holders of Treasury securities. I look at China. This is as of February 2016, and once again, I'm assuming that this data is correct. A lot of people say that this data is crap. I'm taking it as it is. China, $1.252 trillion dollars. Japan, 1.133 trillion dollars. Caribbean banking centers. A lot of conspiracy theories about that. It's just a bunch of, in my opinion, hedge funds that own U.S. Treasuries, 361 billion dollars. Oil exporters. And now that's a bunch of Arab countries. You look at Saudi Arabia, you look at. Let's scroll down here to see if it's here. Okay, you could look at it. Ecuador, Venezuela, Indonesia, Bahrain, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, the list goes on. Saudi Arabia is on the next line. So let's look at this. Only $281 billion, and we saw headlines Saudi Arabia is going to unload our treasuries. Now, I have seen some other headlines that, hey, you know what? Saudi Arabia has a huge sovereign wealth fund, and they most likely have our treasuries. But there's no way of quantifying what amount of treasuries they actually do have. But from the knowledge that we do see, Saudi Arabia doesn't have that many treasury securities to create too much of a ripple effect in our treasury market or in our bond market. And on top of that, what would probably happen is there would be central banks that would probably buy this treasury debt if that were to happen. People say that, hey, this would cause nasty, nasty inflation if Saudi Arabia threatened to get rid of our treasuries. Well, my take is the nasty, zany inflation will not happen until A, we have supply side tax cuts, which I haven't seen yet, or B, what would happen is interest rates would have to go up, increases the velocity of money, and then you see the inflation. So far, that hasn't happened. So, the way that I look at it, the Saudi Arabia story is just a bunch of noise, in my opinion, and Congress should just release this information, and who gives a rat's what Saudi Arabia does? I mean, ultimately, we still have the U.S. military. I don't think we should use the U.S. military to threaten people, but with this system that we have, the dollar is backed by our military industrial complex. So, at the end of the day, Saudi Arabia wants to liquidate our securities. Who cares? Let them. At the end of the day, you're not going to get that nasty inflation. The nasty inflation, in my opinion, is going to come when you have a guy like Trump says he's going to cut taxes, which I actually agree with. But the thing is, we've had interest rates too low for too long, and then the Federal Reserve will always raise interest rates when they feel that the economy is getting better, and then that's when the velocity money picks up. So I think that's what people should focus on when it comes to the nasty inflation. But anyways, thanks for listening to me, guys. I'll talk to you later.